Hey, Vinyl Community, Jeff back again. Just got a new release in the other day. I figured I'd make sure that everybody knew about this because it's one of those bands. It's easy to go under the radar because these people release things overseas and you don't get them. But it's been one of those bands that I've had my eye on and been watching and been a favorite since the 80s. And so I was glad to see they had a new album out after a few years. Well, we've been getting them every few years, but I'm talking about the new one, Time is the Fire by Tokyo Blade. Tokyo Blade, UK band. Started, if you don't know the whole story, they started in the late 70s, and then their first album dropped under the name Tokyo Blade in 1983, and that's where I discovered them. Actually, I probably discovered them a little later when Midnight Rendezvous came out, which was a US version that had most of the songs from the original Tokyo Blade and a couple from one of their EPs that they put out. So it's kind of a comp of sorts for the US audience. But anyway, that's where I cut my teeth. And loved the band back in the day. Loved that album. Then they record a second album and they end up kicking the singer out. I don't know the whole story there. Something about problems in the studio, something about the studio label wanted them to be more commercial. So I don't know. They did something. There was an issue there. And Alan Marsh, the vocalist, was out. So they brought out a second singer and the second album came out. So they only did 4 albums because they did 2 more albums after that. And they were pretty much done. The other band members went on to do other bands. And in 95, they an album popped up by them. I don't know a whole lot of detail. It's mainly the guitar player, a couple of the guys. And then in 2008, they did a live album, and then in 2011, another studio album again. Don't know a whole lot about that album. It's one of those only import CDs that I don't have. I have the digital tracks. And then they just kind of pop up here and there. And there's been some releases under their name, but they're really just like Mr. Ice releases, which is some of the other band members that the band members went on to do. Anyway, kind of raise their head here and there. 2018, we saw a return. Anyway, and we saw a return of Alan Marsh, the original vocalist, and the band came back. So this is the latest, 2025. And so the last album was in 2022. And so it's been 3 years. So it was great to get this. Again, these are on not a major label. So they may go under the radar and you may not see them as much. I think they're both red, or is it, this is a different color, blue. Anyway, great stuff, consistent sound, straight up metal from back in the, just modern metal, hard rock for most people nowadays, but, beings are a classic 80s band. But like I said, if you haven't been keeping up, there's been 4 albums since Alan came back on vocals, which is a sound that I kind of preferred anyway. This one doesn't even have the title on it, but this is Fury. This is from 2022. So we've had a 3-year gap, but you see they've kept the same samurai warrior looking guy on there, which is kind of neat. So this is 2022. Then we had Dark Revolution in 2020. And then the first one that was cool when it came back was Unbroken in 2018. So in 2018, we saw the return. Oh, look, there's some cool Tokyo Blade stuff. That's the first album, flower stuff. Anyway, this is where I was excited because I'm like, oh, the original singer's back. And, so we got this. So 2018, 2020, 2022, and now finally 3 years later, 2025. So yeah, they're still putting stuff out, and I think it's really, good stuff. So if you're not aware, check it out. If you maybe missed that this one just came out earlier this year, definitely check it out. I kept it on my wish list. I was hoping it would drop in price. It never really did. I knew that it would probably eventually skyrocket or become unavailable. So I went ahead and took the plunge and paid a little more than I wanted and grabbed it because it is an import. But anyway, just want to make sure that you are aware, if you're a Tokyo Blade fan like I am, been one since 83 or 84. And that's it for this one, though. Just wanted to keep you up to date. See you later. Rock on and rock hard.